Hi everyone, Caitlin here with Sass and Stitch Crochet, and today I'll be walking you through a tutorial for the double treble crochet stitch, which is the one you see here. I feature this stitch in my dragonfly shawl, which I'll link down in the description box below. You can check that pattern out if you'd like. So I wanted to do a stitch tutorial on how to make this stitch because it's not a very common stitch and there's not a lot of resources out there. So I'll be walking you through how to make the stitch plus how to increase the stitch and decrease with this stitch. For this tutorial you'll need any yarn. You can pick any weight. I'm using a worsted 4 weight, and you'll also want a corresponding hook size to go with your yarn. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook here. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. Just like with any crochet project, we are going to start with a slip knot. I like to make my slip knots by laying my tail on my left side, picking up the yarn and looping it around my index finger to make a cross. Reach through the loop and pull up a loop through your fingers. However you make it, go ahead and make your slip knot, insert your hook, and we are going to chain. You can chain any number you'd like, however long you'd like to make your swatch right now. I think I'm going to chain, I think maybe 15. To make a chain, you'll yarn over and pull through the loop that was already on your hook. Again, yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Repeat this until you have the number of chains you'd like to do. I recommend at least 10. If you're just doing a practice swatch, 10 to 15 chains should be plenty. Once you achieve your desired length for your swatch, go ahead and add 5 more chains. For the double treble crochet stitch, you need a height of 5 chains between each row, so we need to go ahead and add 5 more so we have the proper height without taking too many chains away from our starting chain. So I've went ahead and added my 5 extra chains. And we're going to be starting in the 6th chain from the hook. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains over from your hook, and yarn over 3 times before you do any inserting. 1, 2, yarn over a 3rd time, insert your hook into that 6th chain, yarn over and pull through the stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is a double treble crochet stitch. Alright, doing that again, yarn over 3 times, find the next chain, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull through just 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your second double treble crochet stitch. Working the next stitch, yarn over 3 times, locate the next chain to work into, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through 1, and yarn over, pull through 2. You'll keep doing that until you're down to just 1 loop left on your hook. Just like that. So you're going to continue doing this all the way across your swatch row that you have here. You can do as many stitches as you'd like, just enough to get yourself some practice. I'm going to just move a little bit quicker, and I will meet you back at the end of this swatch row. You're just going to keep doing double treble crochet all the way across until you get to the end of the row. I'm just doing my last stitch at the end here. I'm in my last chain. This was the one I just completed, and I have 1 more chain left. Insert, yarn over, and maybe pull through. There we go. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. You know the drill by now, I hope. Okay, so that is the first row of double treble crochet. Now you'll see here my chain makes the bottom of my work a little bit tighter, so I might recommend actually sizing up your hook when you do the chain, and then going back to your preferred hook size when you do the actual stitches, because the stitches are so loose and airy that they just get nice and stretched out. So you might want to size up your hook for your chain when you're doing your real project. I'm going to insert my hook back into my loop and we'll move on to the second row. Now we need to chain 5 at the beginning of this next row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to give us the height we need for our next row of double treble crochet stitches. And this chain 5 is actually going to count as our first stitch because it's so tall and takes up so much space, it kind of just looks like a stitch. So this is going to be the stitch that will act as the stitch in our first loop here, our first stitch. So when we go to place our first actual double crochet stitch, we're going to skip that first stitch, and when we make our first stitch of this row, it's going to go into the second stitch. Does that make sense? So this starting chain 5 will act as the first stitch. So you're going to skip that first one and work directly into the second stitch from the previous row. Do your double treble crochet, and you'll keep doing double treble crochets all the way across. Go ahead and do a second full row of this just to give yourself some more practice, and I'll meet you back at the end of the row, and I'll also show you more of what I mean by the chain 5 acting as a stitch. Okay, I've made it almost to the end of this row. You'll see that I have 2 stitches left. One of them looks like a normal top of a stitch to work into, and the last one is actually the chain 5 from our previous row, and we have to work into that because, like I said, the chain 5s act as a stitch. So that means we have to place a stitch into that chain at the end. So I'm going to do my last normal looking double treble crochet, and then I need to do another double treble crochet into this chain 5 here. Just find the top chain, find a spot to insert your hook into there at the end, and do a double treble crochet. And you'll see that these stitches line up nicely and that the chain 5 obviously counts as a stitch, and it looks pretty much normal. So there you have it. That is how you do a normal double treble crochet. Next we're going to get into how you increase and how you decrease with this stitch. So increasing can look 2 different ways with this kind of stitch, and I'll show you both of them. One of them being at the very beginning of a row, and one of them being in any other stitch besides the beginning, so either at the middle or the end. But if you do an increase at the beginning of a row, it has a slightly different rule. So go ahead and chain 5 for your next row. And like we've talked about, this chain 5 counts as a stitch. So when you did your previous row, you skipped that first stitch and worked into the second stitch because you have that chain 5 there. However, if you are doing a double treble crochet at the beginning of a row, this means that you want to place a double treble crochet into that same stitch that the chain 5 is coming out from. So yarn over 3 times and work a double treble crochet into that first stitch. And you'll see here that both of the chain 5 and that stitch you just made are coming out from the same stitch. So that is considered an increase because you have 2 stitches coming out from the same stitch. So that's how you would increase if you're doing it at the beginning of a row. I'm going to work just a couple normal double treble crochets to give myself a little space between this one and the next increase. And I'm just going to be picking a random spot to do the next one. Okay, so let's just say I've decided to do an increase into this next stitch. I'm going to do a double treble crochet as normal into that next stitch. And then I'm going to do a complete second double treble crochet into that same stitch that I just went into. They're totally separate stitches, you're just doing it into the same stitch from the previous row. And that is how you increase with the double treble crochet stitch. I've got an increase at the beginning and an increase in the middle right here. You can see that these 2 stitches are coming out of the same place, so that is considered an increase. Okay, go ahead and work the rest of this row as normal. I'll meet you at the end of it, and then the next row I'll teach you how to do decreases. Okay, so we're going to start this next row just as we always do with a chain 5. Now, I haven't personally figured out how to do a decrease stitch in the very first stitch here because this chain 5 kind of gets in our way, but I'll teach you how to do a decrease on literally any other set of stitches. I'm just going to work one normal double treble crochet first to get us started. And then we'll do a double treble crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So yarn over 3 times as normal, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, but this time stop when you still have 2 loops left on your hook. You don't want to complete that last step of the stitch. Now yarn over 3 times again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops left on your hook. You'll have your original loop, the loop from the first stitch, and the loop from the second stitch. You'll now yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And you'll see here that these 2 stitches are being combined into one loop there on the top. So you just did a double treble crochet 2 together. Now I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to also show you a double treble crochet 3 together, and the reasoning is because I have this stitch featured in my dragonfly shawl, the pattern that I mentioned earlier. So for those coming from that pattern, I'm going to go ahead and show you double treble crochet 3 together. I've just done a couple normal stitches in between to give myself some space. Okay, so for a double treble crochet 3 together, it starts the same way. Yarn over 3 times, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over 3 times, do the start of your next stitch the same way we've been doing, and you'll stop when you have 3 loops left on your hook. Now at this point, this is the same spot as when we did the double treble crochet 2 together, but this time we're going to take it a step further and add another one to make it 3 together. So yarn over 3 times, insert into the next stitch, do your thing until you have 4 loops left on your hook. So you have your original loop and 1 loop for each of the 3 stitches that you're pulling together. Now technically you could keep doing this method all the way across the row. You could combine as many stitches as you wanted to. It would be the same method that I'm showing you here, but for now we're just going to stop at 3. So yarn over, so to finish your stitch, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. And again, you can see here that these 3 stitches are getting pulled all the way into 1 loop. So that is a double treble crochet 3 together. And there you have it. That is the double treble crochet stitch plus how to increase and decrease with the stitch. I hope this video was really helpful, especially if you're coming from my dragonfly shawl. Just got to plug that one more time. I do have the pattern linked in the description box below. And yeah, thanks again for all the support. If you have another stitch video you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments and I'd be glad to try to find the time to do it. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.